are allowed to move forward when it shouts out green light. Stop when it shouts red light.
Green light! Red light!
Hey there gamers, welcome back. So today we're talking Squid Games, the popularised Korean TV show, bit macabre, bit brutal, that's now been turned into a real game show, without the killing. Apart from being great entertainment, there are some really serious lessons we can all learn from every single episode. Don't worry, no spoilers here, just some real value and a lot of key takeaways you can take away right here. So financial struggles and desperation can lead people to making insane choices. Now just in case you didn't know, both in the real version and the fiction version, the prize money is millions, like life-changing millions. The show explores the characters' financial hardships, showing how economic inequity can affect individuals, especially when there's money involved. And this leads the most normal people that you'd say hi to every day to make really extreme decisions. So the thing about Squid Games is it tests your reactions to those very questions. Squid Games tests an individual's integrity, ethics and underlying values, revealing traits that people didn't necessarily know or even believe they had. It illustrates how cutthroat rivalry can completely erode trust amongst a population of people. This underscores the importance of healthy competition, but not to the extent that it completely compromises human dignity and values, and highlights the importance of addressing systemic issues like economic inequality. Those with less money will almost certainly react differently to those with money or have less need for money. The show illustrates the complexity and results of extreme financial inequality and the decisions that people make. In the game show on Netflix, it's a life and death situation. In the TV show, the life and death is still simulated, but obviously no one's going to die. Ultimately, it's a cautionary tale about the pursuit of wealth at all costs and the importance of maintaining a really strong moral compass and doing what's right, and bearing that in mind, it's an individual decision. Human empathy and connection is essential. One thing this show really does well is it showcases the power of human empathy in spades. It emphasises the importance of supporting each other, showing kindness, being firm but fair, standing up for what's right and wrong, because in the game show, it's life and death. But in fact, I got that wrong. In the Netflix show, it's life and death, but in the game show, it's all about money. But amidst all of these games, deadly or about money, friendly competition, friendly factions emerge. We become tribal. It's so illustrative of society we live in today. But I think what it showed for me was, even in the darkest times, you will always find a friend to lean on and support you in your hour of need. I like that in the show that it delves into the characters of the underlying contestants. So you'll see that there'll be a break and there'll be an interview conducted, and you'll see what's motivating people. And while in the beginning you might have thought that it was just money is linked to greed, well actually behind that, it in some cases could be a sick parent or a sick relative that the money would go a huge way towards helping getting them better. So for sure, it challenges you to not judge a book by its cover, not to look at the surface level causes that you think drive people, and actually just to turn a page and get to know people a lot better. And I think there's a lot we can learn from in life generally if we take that approach. I mean, if we turn on any news channel, we see reel after reel of a loss of human connection. And if we do embrace each other a bit more, and if we do focus on what connects us rather than what divides us, I think we are immeasurably better off for that as a human race. The consequences of greed and corruption. The converse to the prior comment is Squid Games perfectly depicts the destructive power and destructive effect, should I say, of greed and corruption. It's no masterstroke to use money as that conduit to elicit emotions or traits in people that probably you wouldn't ordinarily see on the streets. It's pervasive in life. Money is the oil that goes around the engine of society around the world. And everyone's affected by it. The reason why you educate yourself is to get a better job, and the reason why you want a better job is to earn more money. And why you want more money? So you can have better holidays or do more things. So everything is intrinsically linked. No one can say that they're not interested or affected by money. All game shows use money as a motivator. Can you name one game show that doesn't use money or the trappings that money can buy as the prize? Comments down below. I don't think you will. But I think if you watch the show through, It should serve as a reminder that money isn't everything, but it shows that the pursuit of wealth and money at all costs can really have a detrimental effect on your character. So really sit back and think to yourself, well, why is it that I'm pursuing this? Always ask why. Courage and resilience in the face of fear. Now this is more akin to the Netflix show rather than the game show, because in the show the depiction or the consequence of getting something wrong was literally death. You were killed in the game. But what you see is some contestants showing real compassion for less able contestants, people that they'd fallen in love with. So it really was interesting to see that, you know, money actually wasn't everything for some people. And maybe it was a case of they'd gotten as far into the game as they thought they could and actually probably come to accept that they were going no further. So maybe it was that. But it's interesting to see that they were willing to sacrifice their life for someone else or for the greater good. The value of critical thinking and strategic thinking. So what's really clever about Squid Games is it puts the contestants in situations where they either do make strategic decisions or they very quickly learn they have to, because the consequences are both death in the Netflix show or you're out of the competition in the game show. So it makes you think strategically. And making calculated decisions under pressure is not easy, especially when we look at these decisions through the lens of today's society. Everything now is fast. Education's fast, food is fast, information is fast, data's fast. You've got a smartphone in your hand right now that you could ask a question and you'd get an answer almost immediately. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, people used to go to libraries to get that same information. And it's never going to slow down. And now we have, well, I say we have, it's always been there, but dopamine receptors in our brains, the feel-good chemicals, are constantly getting hit. So we don't need to think strategically. Why would you put off a feeling, a pleasant feeling of gratification over a matter of weeks, months, years, when you can have it right now? You can game, you can go on your games console or stream online or whatever. When actually taking the long view, and I'm going down the rabbit hole. Ultimately, we become way more tolerant to that same dopamine hit. And conversely, this affects our willingness to delay that gratification, like I've just said. Now, this concept was studied and so perfectly illustrated by Stanford University. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. It's called the marshmallow experiment. I've put a link below, but it takes two children in a room and they've basically got a couple of marshmallows and they're told you can have there's a marshmallow on the plate in front of them, and the teacher goes out the room before she goes out the room and she says, if you don't eat this, when I come back I'll give you 3 marshmallows. They nod in understanding and acceptance of the rules, and then the teacher leaves. Then the camera just watches these children during this experiment, and it's just incredible to see the tension in them as they know that if they wait they'll get more, but they just cannot help themselves, and lo and behold it starts with a lick, and then some kids just go straight out there and eat the marshmallow. But seriously, this underscores the importance of thinking critically and thinking strategically in life. Sometimes we just have to delay that gratification for the greater picture. I get there are people out there that will say, c'est la vie, live for now, you only live once. I get all that and I'm not averse to it, but also, you know, what if you do happen to live till you're 85 years old? You know, how do you want to live when you're that old? The danger of blindly following instructions. So in both games, the creator or the commander issues directions to the contestants that they should follow. So like I said, no spoilers here, but what I would say is not everything is as it seems. And I'm not sure even and I'm analysing Squid Games at the minute, would be able to pick up on all of the cues from all of the instructions coming from the game's creators. But suffice to say, the point here is not everything is as it seems, and in both instances, both the series on Netflix, people lose lives for not paying attention to detail, and in the game show, people are eliminated from the game because they didn't pay attention to the detail. What exactly are you being asked to do? Redemption and second chances. Now in both shows, some characters face real moral dilemmas, and in both examples make questionable decisions and choices that I, as a viewer, really thought to myself, this is not a good person. But then get a few episodes in and you find that the character shows genuine remorse or sorrow for the poor decision that they've made. And this, I think, is a really important revelation in the show, because it does show that people can change if they're given the opportunity to, and that forgiveness and second chances can be transformative. Everybody has got the capacity for change, that's what I'm saying. Whether they do or not is completely down to them. The impact of past traumas. Everybody's got baggage, and in both the show and the game, in the series and the game show, I think it's depicted better in real life because it comes with identifiable baggage that people do carry around with them. And I'll say this now: everybody you know has some sort of baggage. The analysis of that is, well, what is it that person is carrying around? Why do they fly off a handle? And it's because they're being triggered by something that may be seemingly really innocuous or something that wouldn't bother you, but to them it's a really, really big thing. In everyday life, people have things going on. They may have just lost a loved one. They may have PTSD. They may have had a really tough childhood. They may be going through a real rough patch in a relationship right now. We just don't know. The point is, just be a bit kinder to people every day. You don't know what's going on. And likewise, if you're the person just going through it at the minute, you don't have to take it out on the entire world. So I think the show does a really good job of showing that unresolved trauma can have a really devastating impact on individuals and the society or the group, the social group they're living in at the minute. The blurred lines between right and wrong. The show cleverly puts people or the contestants in morally ambiguous circumstances. And I think this prompts us as the audience to consider some of the complexities of human psyche and human emotions. And I have to say, I love this bit. Not from a negative perspective, but more from a social, psychological perspective. I think that a lot of people virtue signal. This is what I stand for. This is what I do. This is what I want to be. This is how I want to be perceived. And they do it so they construct a world where they're more likable or more in favour with their tribe. I think this is complete BS. And even people that claim to be, I'm just myself, what you see is what you get, I think it's a front. In Squid Games, the real games, contestants are often seen trying to justify morally ambiguous decisions, cruel decisions, lying to people directly to their face and then doing the opposite, but treating them as if they're close allies and friends. It's not a judgment, just an observation, but I think it does show or reflect some of the shades of grey in decision making and the importance of ethical deliberation. So overall, I think Squid Games offers a really excellent insight into society's psyche, human interaction, social dynamics, and the human capacity for both good and bad. Now, while the series portrays really extreme scenarios, it's the underlying themes that resonate with real-world challenges, in my view. And I think it's about asking the audience and the viewer to reflect on their own choices, their own decision-making processes, their own biases, and then fuse all that with all of the broader social issues and societal issues that the show reveals. So I've dropped a link in the description below with the marshmallow experiment video, which you can go and watch. Also in the description are some brilliant links, so you can get some free stocks from Stake and Gemini, a Quidco link which will help you save tons and get loads of cash back, and there's also a link to a merch store just launched. There will be a Patreon account which will go live pretty soon, but I've still got a bit of work to do on that in the background. So without further ado, thanks very much for watching this video. Take care and I'll see you soon. Ciao.